So here we are, we're in Laguna Seca in the Ferrari P45 by Pininfarina. This is actually the Competizione model, so I think this is the one that did the Le Mans, oh not Le Mans, sorry, 24 hours of Nürburgring. I really like this car. It has a lot of history, and it's quite fun to drive around Laguna Seca. I never used to really enjoy Laguna Seca, but recently, the past few months, especially over lockdown, doing a lot of races around Laguna Seca in the MX-5s and driving single-seaters. And doing these open lobby track days, which I've been really enjoying around Laguna Seca. Can get pretty frustrating at times with controller drivers and people that hit you all the time, but that is sim racing, I guess. So this is kind of my first lap. I've done a few laps before this just to get a feel of the car, so it's not too difficult to watch. This car has heaps of history. I really like this car. It's a pretty recent car, but just for how new it is, I think it's really cool, and I think it, with its roots with the Enzo Ferrari or the Ferrari Enzo, sorry, and the Ferrari 330 P34, I think it was. I think it sort of takes history from both those cars. So this car was originally made by Pininfarina, sort of to try and bring back the historical old looks of the original Ferraris. It uses a Ferrari Enzo chassis, as I just go all sorts of wrong in that corner. That was terrible, and it kind of ruined this guy's lap. I think he might have hit the GTR and then hit me. So here we are back again. Yeah, this uses the Ferrari Enzo chassis and engine, but the style of the body is based off the Ferrari 330 P34, which I guess this is where it gets its name from. To me, my main problems with this car is the understeer and keeping the tyres warm. Keeping the tyres warm is sort of my fault and the track's fault, because the track's quite cold today and I'm not pushing the car hard enough to keep my tyres warm. But the understeer and this sort of snap oversteer, which isn't too bad, but I guess in the corkscrew kind of just every car gets it, but I think the understeer is mainly just because of the mid rear engine, and since it uses the Enzo chassis, the Enzo also had understeer problems, but I eventually understand how to fix it, and it's a pretty basic fix. I mean, it's just not turning in the braking zone, which is pretty simple. I mean, you should be doing that with every car, but with this car it's really pronounced, so it took me a while to sort of get used to it. As you can see, just I'm turning in the car, but it takes a while for the car to sort of get grip, and even if I try and put the weight in the front of the car like then, I try and use braking to my advantage to put more weight and get more grip on the front tyres. It sometimes doesn't work and sometimes it does, and I think I just need to drive the car more to understand it. Coming into turn 5, not hitting the apex at all. You really need to turn in early for that corner. For this car, it's just not amazing. Braking early, going into second, going into the Rahul straight. I don't know why I did that, but it's alright. I'm just trying to learn the car. as we have this yellow car behind us, which you'll see we have quite a good little battle as we try to avoid that red car, and the yellow car's just gone down the outside. I sort of give it to him and try and give him the space because I don't really want to battle into this hairpin. He goes defensive, which I don't know why you would, but I guess he really wants to battle. So don't get me wrong, I enjoy battling. I really like battling in these open lobbies. That's why I do them. You know, I think it's a really good way to learn a new car, is by learning lines and following other people, and getting pushed by other people. So here we go, going into turn 3, I think it is. Doing it pretty well, not turning in as early as I should have in turn 4, but that's alright. He's sort of getting held up by this red car, which lets us catch up to him, but he goes really slow. I don't understand why this red car's going this slow. So I do back off a little bit just because this turn 5 is pretty hard to do, as I think that red car just made a mistake. So this yellow car is trying, and just gets squeezed on the inside, so can't quite make it. I've got quite a good view. I should try and get into the race as I nearly understeer into that red car. I think it's a BMW, and just get the line completely wrong, and the yellow P45 is off. So I thought. He just made a mistake and we're kind of back in it. I don't know where he is, but I kind of just turn in and just hope he doesn't hit me, and he's pretty clean. So coming off the final corner, get a pretty good exit, and I think overall I was a 10th up that lap. This corner, I do it a lot better in the first part of the corner, but not using enough of the track. The end, really just doing bad, braking late, not hitting the apex. Really bad. Turn 3. Turn 4, shifting too early, or shifting down. You shouldn't even be shifting down. That was really stupid of me. I'm just, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm not even under pressure, but just completely ruining it. Thinking about letting this Tatus through, the Tatus, but he gets turn 5 completely wrong and just, or turn 6, sorry, completely wrong and goes off. Braking at the end of the Rahal straight, sorry, down the corkscrew, kind of cutting it, but doesn't matter. I enjoy fighting this guy. Not really battling at the moment. He kind of goes down the inside. I sort of let him through. I don't go tight enough in that corner. So he goes defensive again. I get a really good entry and a really good exit out of the final corner. Just trying to catch up. I was thinking of moving into the draft or the slipstream, but I decided not to. He goes super defensive, which you don't really need to. I should have taken more advantage of him going so defensive, but I didn't, which was my mistake. Going out of turn 3 into turn 4, doing that quite well, but he just did it better. Not confident enough, I think, on the brakes and on the throttle. Doing this corner quite well, him doing it very poorly, which sort of ends his lap. So but up 1 second and 3/10 on the delta, so pretty good so far, getting, you know, sort of taking that dude's line, and really first sector did it quite well. Losing so much time downshifting and turn 10, I think, turn 8, turn 10. Pretty stupid of me. Pretty good final corner. It was alright, losing a bit of time, but nothing major. So starting a new lap, trying to brake as late as possible, sort of average line and just running out of talent. So here I am trying to fix my tyre heating problems, which now I think about it probably didn't help my understeer problems increasing a tyre. I really should just get a whole setup, but I didn't really care, to be honest, at the time. I just wanted to learn the car. But with a proper setup, I think it would fix partly the temperature problems and the understeer problems that I'm having. But as I said, I just don't really care, to be honest. This car, letting that car through, I think he was thinking about going for it, but he eventually let me through, which was quite nice of him. I don't know why he's so slow. He's really, he has a lot of race sense, but, or etiquette, I should say, but then he just does stuff like that. Talking about the car behind, by the way. So yeah, not too sure. Doing turn 10 quite nicely. That guy making a mistake and we just go around the outside. There's this guy, ooh, they almost crashed. So up the straight, starting a new lap. Once again, this car coming down the pits. I really wish I had another chance to fight another car, but I think people sort of leaving the lobby now. And this car behind me isn't amazing. I think he's about my skill level, so pretty terrible. Try to give him enough room, and that kind of compromises my line. Just downshifting too early, getting a bit squirrely, and just doing it really bad. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this car. I really like that, you know, Ferrari kind of gave the blessing, you know, sort of, for it to become a Ferrari. I'm not sure how I feel about it being a Ferrari, since in its later years, especially this model, the Competizione version isn't a Ferrari. Sort of, I don't know, it's a bit confusing. Technically it is, technically it's not. I really like the car. I'd like to think it was a Ferrari, but it is sort of a Pininfarina, to be honest, with a Enzo chassis, an Enzo engine, and 330p 3.5. Sort of, can't think of the word right now. Design, possibly. Not braking early enough at all into this corner. Really, just not doing well at all. This Tatus behind me. I kinda want to, is it a Tatus? It's not. I forgot what car that is. Trying to kind of keep him away from me. I think it's quite fun, even though these cars just have so much downforce and so much torque in the low end. But I eventually pushed too hard and they just get past me. So maybe I should have just gone to the pits, but I decided to keep going. Currently P8, only 2 seconds behind the leader, who is probably in a single seater, so I'm pretty happy about that. Our old friend, the red car, is behind us. I think that's him, stamping the throttle about 5 million times, which is not how you're meant to drive, but it's alright. Late braking, spotting the braking point very poorly. and that sort of just compromises us down this whole straight. Losing a couple hundredths on the delta. Going down to first a bit too early, but overall not too bad, and going positive on the delta, so pretty good so far. Nearly 3/10 up. That corner would have been really good if I hadn't hit that sausage curve, but our possibly good lap is ruined by someone who enjoys hitting people, so it is what it is. That's how these open lobbies go. I don't really care, to be honest. As I come out the pits, I see this guy. I think it's a Pagani. Is it? Sort of kind of trying to catch up with him, but his straight line speed is just way better than mine, and his line then is definitely better than mine. My line recently hasn't been too good, as I did that corner quite well, but I think with this corner and the understeer that I can't seem to fix sort of makes me worry too much. And here we come up to the car that wrecked me earlier, so I'm very cautious around, because I think he did it on purpose, and as you can see there, that confirms my beliefs, and he is just doing it for fun, and he completely misses his braking zone. So yeah, sort of feel sorry for those guys, but we all sort of were in his position at one point. I know I got quite frustrated when I was learning how to race. With all these people passing me, I eventually just ended up hitting them. You know, so it is what it is. No hard feelings, I don't mind. Did that corner quite well, finally. I also did turn 2 quite well. Missing the apex of this corner. Going in deep and sort of losing heaps of time. This corner finally getting the hang of. Going up 4/10 now on the delta. Nearly 4.5. Into the corkscrew and just yeah, bottling the lap. Could have been quite a good lap, but end up ruining it. So this guy does the exact same thing that I did, so I decided to give him a few flashes of the headlight. I see this guy coming up. I probably should have just kept racing rather than letting him through, because I think I compromised his line. But it wasn't my fault that he did that. It was my fault that I did that, but I don't think I played a part in him going off track just then, so that's alright. I think this might be my last lap, as I've kind of been racing, driving around for about 30 minutes. Didn't really want to be on too long, to be honest. I feel like if I stay on too long, I just start getting annoyed. Better turn 1, better turn 2. That GTR lets me through, which is quite nice. Better turn 4. This is probably one of my better laps, although the delta doesn't show it. The line was quite good. That probably acceptable, not in a race, but for my standards right now, I think quite acceptable, as we take off about a 10th and a bit, and really doing that corner really well and just trusting the camber. Hopefully we don't spin on the corkscrew. We don't, but we've lost heaps of time, just not holding enough speed. But getting it back the delta is all over the place. I really wish I could see a what's the word, like a theoretical best time, because then I would have something to aim for. But yeah, the delta just shows that there's so much time to gain in every single corner, and I'm not consistent nearly enough in this car. That's pretty much it. I don't think I do another lap. I really enjoy this car, and I'll probably drive this car on another track later.